Hey guys, it's Jessie. I'm just here to welcome you back to my channel. So, this is a series that I'm doing that's called The Lost Thoughts of Me. If you guys are just joining in, then that's awesome. I'm glad to have some new people here. I'm glad to have anybody here. Anyways, I just wanted to do a little video today talking about, what's going on with me lately. So, I have recently been dealing with an issue with my mother, regards to some money that was taken from me as a minor. And I think that once all of this blows over, I would really like to do a full story time, a full in-depth talk about, what was taken from me, how it was taken from me, the amounts that were taken from me, how old I was, what went on, how this happened, and different things. And I think it's important to maybe have these discussions because I do not want anyone to be in the situation that I was in the fact that you had an abusive parent who wanted to control you, to control your life, really, and they decided that your hard-earned money was money that they owned as well. And I think that that is so sad, and it's so sick, and it's just, for a parent to even think that is unbelievable to me. And I just wanted to, have a little bit of that discussion. Either way, if you guys are interested in that, then I would love to do a little bit of a series on that. But yeah, so basically I wanted to give you guys a little bit of my thoughts and just a few things that I've learned over this course of things. So I have dealt with a narcissistic mother my entire life, right? Now, last night, when I was speaking to her, I had my partner listen to the conversation because for me, this is a lot of baggage that comes with me in the fact that that's my entire childhood. That's my entire past reality. And as much as I am way happier in who I am today and that I am moving forward and I feel like, this is not my future, this is not my this is my past, but it's not what's going to affect me in the future. However, it does still affect me. It's I have a lot of trauma from this. Being raised by a narcissist is very traumatic. Now, when I say raised by a narcissist, in my mind, I don't think of her as a parent. I don't think of her as someone who genuinely actually raised me into who I am today. Because at the end of the day, I know that the person who raised me to be who I am today is me. I've been the one at the end of the day to sit there and cry and to get past that, to go through depression, to go through all of the trauma that I experienced, and to come out to who I am today and how I have navigated the past relationships that I've had with her. I've built a family now that I love, and one thing that's really important is that family isn't blood. Family is not the people who are connected to me by DNA. Family are the people that care, the people that are there for you, the people that you have love for, who have love for you, and who care about exactly who you are and exactly where you're going and what you want to be. So, for anyone out there who is experiencing or has experienced a lot of family trauma, I'm here to tell you that I remember everyone telling me that, it will get better in time. But honestly, the only thing that got better was the fact that I had to love myself. I had to hear people say that I love you. I had to surround myself in safe environments, and I had to learn how to do that. And I think one thing for me that was important was the fact that I went to therapy, mandatory therapy, after an incident that happened in my house. And I think that understanding what a safe place is and a safe environment is something that I grew to understand and how to strive for that and how to replicate that. And what I'm trying to say is that, yes, in the thick of all of it, times were absolutely horrible. I remember being suicidal. I struggled with cutting. I started self-harming from the age of 13, and I did not stop until I was probably 19. And with all of that, I am still here today because I had to make it better. I had to remove myself from that entire situation. And one thing that's hard for me is that I was struggling with all of these things. I had nobody when I left. I was just beginning my relationship with the partner that I have now that I'm so thankful for, but I was not planning to be in a relationship with anyone. And that's something that I think is also important, is like, if you're going through a lot of trauma and things like that, don't get me wrong, I do not have a problem with anybody being in a relationship or friendships and things like that, but at the end of the day, you need to decide who your friends are. What do they bring to your life? How do they make you feel? And at the end of the day, sometimes it's better to be a bit lonely than to be surrounded by people that aren't a safe environment. At the end of the day, it's easier to cry yourself to sleep over 2 people than it is over 5. And I think that it's very important to realize that, yes, there are times where you will be friends with people, and yes, it's sometimes really sad to let them go, but at the end of the day, if they're not healthy for you or you're not healthy for them, sometimes 2 people just aren't meant to be friends forever. So just please, if there is anyone out there who is struggling with things, don't be afraid to reach out in my comment section. Do not, don't ever feel like you can't change things for you. But unfortunately, from the world that I've lived in and from my experiences, at the end of the day, you're really only left with you. That means it has to be you who loves you, who creates that safe environment, who chooses those friends. You have to choose the people who love you, and you have to choose the people that you love. I look at people and I get to know the people that I have in my life right now are people that when I look at them, I just know that no matter what they do, no matter anything that they're going through, all I want to do is love them and be there for them to become the best person that they want to be. And that's all that matters. Who do you want to be? Somebody needs to love you for who you want to be. And if you can't do that, I'm here to tell you that I can. I will show you love because I don't think that there's enough of that. In fact, I don't think that there's enough people in this world who just tell you that no matter what you're going through, you are valid. And that means too, I don't want people ever to feel that if they have circumstances that would be quote unquote considered less of a problem than what people would think. If you're not getting, I remember when I was a kid that I thought because I wasn't getting hit, I wasn't being abused. And that's incorrect. It's so wrong to think that. I used to think when I was self-harming that if I didn't do it deep enough, it wasn't good enough. And that is such a wrong thing to think. The reason why I used to cut was for, realistically, it released endorphins in my brain that allowed me to just be okay. and not want to go farther than artificially harming myself. So please, I'm telling you that from my experience, if you're really, really suffering, just love yourself. Love you. You are worth it. You are valid. You are beautiful. You are wonderful. And you are the only one in this world who is perfectly broken to be you. I wrote this poem when I was in high school, and I think it is one of my favorite poems. I just love the way that I put it together, and I'm gonna write it down. I'm gonna read it for you guys. Again, the reason why I say things, so I believe that people are perfectly broken to be who they are. Because everybody is going through experiences. Everyone is going through really hard times. But if you didn't go through those experiences, if you didn't see the world through the way that you see it, who would? You are perfectly who you are supposed to be. And for me, I constantly felt broken. Until one day I just realized I'm perfectly broken. Okay? So here's my poem. It's called Perfectly Broken. You have torn me down. You have broken my heart, and here I stand. You pushed me into a place that is dark, yet I still wish for light. Even when it gets darker than I thought was possible, I still have compassion for others. For every hurtful thing I have thought about myself, I still care about other people's pain, even if it's smaller than mine, or bigger. But it's when I'm alone that I have to think about me, and I realize for every scar there is uniqueness, for every tear there is authenticity. All of the pain that I've gone through, I would never wish on anyone else. All the horrible things I've done to me that just made me perfectly broken. My heart may be broken, but what does broken mean? It's a part of me, and that's what matters. Maybe I have darkness, but who doesn't? Maybe I'm too hard on myself and I hurt myself the most. But maybe that's made me who I am today. Perfectly broken. And I'm okay with being broken because that's all I know. Maybe one day I can catch a glimpse. But for now, I have to live with being me. And what if all that people want is just being normal? But what is normal? What if we saw normal and we realized it's not special? Every heart the same? Where would you find what makes you different? Every scar has a story, and maybe yours isn't over yet. Maybe you don't have enough hurt to know happiness. Maybe you don't have enough scars to complete your story. Or maybe, right now, you think you're only broken. But what does broken mean? Broken means you are real. The more cracks, the more depth there is to a person. You have so many layers to learn and think through. The day that your mind goes blank is the day that you should be worried. For what purpose do you have? Not to think, not to dream, even if it is for a better life. Searching for perfection is hope in its possibilities. So I'm okay with being perfectly broken. I hope that you guys can resonate with that. I really love the way that I wrote that poem, and it came from a really hard place in my life. This was in the midst of one of the hardest times in my life. It's about perspective. It's about learning how to love yourself. It's about learning how to change your perspective on you. Because you are wonderful. You are beautiful. You are perfectly broken. I love you guys, and I hope that you enjoy this. Again, please don't ever forget that you are beautiful, wonderful, valid, and I love you guys. XOXO, Jessie.